All right, what's up, you guys? We are going to keep it short and sweet today. Welcome to the Global Grind Podcast, GGP, episode number 2. Today, we are going to generalize, create principles, and simplify as much as possible as we can self-development, health, and bettering yourself as a whole, and the things that you need to focus on. So get your pen and papers out, write these down. There is so much out there that I think everything just gets convoluted. People get confused and feel like it's just so much with everything else that they have going on in life, and that does not need to be the case. So first off, here's a quote that I love, and I believe it's Ralph Waldo Emerson. Methods, there are millions. It will drive a man mad. Principles, there are a few. And so I have really honed that in my life of being like, hey, in every different aspect, what are the principles that I need to have that are going to give me 80% of my results, and focus on those and being precise and doing those well. Now, first off, here's the biggest thing. Your most important muscle that you are training for anything is right up here. This is nothing more than a supercomputer, and it's the most complex computer that has ever been designed, and we still do not understand that. Keep that in mind. This is your most valuable asset, or it could be an absolute detriment to you. So we need to make this an asset and an instrument that we choose when to play it, and that it is not playing us. I challenge you something. First off, pause this video. Go try to sit down and just sit in silence and tell me, you think you have control of your mind? Sit in silence. Just give yourself even a couple minutes, and I guarantee you within the first 12 seconds, you're going to have some thoughts that pop up into your mind, and you're going to realize that you have a complete monkey brain. We all do. That's why we need to train. That's why we need to be mindful and put some practices into our life, because you combine that just kind of human nature with the cheap dopamine, the fast-paced phones going off all the time, the distraction, and always constant entertainment, and that's what you get. The average attention span for a human being, I believe here about 20 years ago, was like 13 seconds. And now, as of about 3 or 4 years ago, it's down to about 9 seconds. And just for your information, that is less than a goldfish. Fact check me on that. Pretty crazy, right? So just trying to make my point here. But the biggest thing is that to control our mind, and I mean, this goes back to anyone that's been really high level at anything. I think sports are a good way to look at that. I really do. Competing at the highest level with a lot of pressure and stress. Kobe Bryant, the championship kind of reign with the Chicago Bulls with Phil Jackson as the Zen master. Tiger Woods, he talks about when he had his big falling out is because he got away from his Buddhist practices and basically started, chasing cheap dopamine and lust and thrills. The very first thing that I would recommend that somebody do, number one on your list, you have to find time for silence and deep breathing, okay? You need to meditate, looking up third eye meditation on YouTube, looking up chakra meditation. It could be, this is very religious too, for, kind of whatever your language is with that. You need to find time for silence. This just balances you, it centers you. And I believe that breathing, unlike blinking and a lot of these other things that are very unconscious to us, I think breathing is something that we need to be conscious of, and that's kind of where it starts. Mindfulness as a whole, that's how we can change habits. Instead of breathing short and shallow, everything's up in the chest, being very mindful about taking in deep breath through the nose. It's kind of coming from this area. I think people get this confused as the belly. I feel like it's more from here where my diaphragm is, just under my ribs. Little 4-second hold, little exhale. That's probably my biggest tip. I'm doing that while I'm golfing. I'm doing that while I'm rolling jiu-jitsu. I'm trying to do that while I'm playing any sport. I'm doing that in between sets while I'm lifting. I'm doing that when I'm listening to somebody. I think it's very important to know that we're trying to get flow in life, right? We are trying to be in a flow state, not too stressful, not boredom, just a nice flow where we're nice and focused. And that's what you got to have. We got to be mindful of our breathing. We have to have some sort of meditative practice. Okay. Number 2, we need to get outside. You need to do something in nature. I don't care what your habit is or what kind of is fun for you. It could be hiking, it could be golfing, it could just be going to the lake. You could go sit on a rock and just stare out into space. Take a little bit of time in nature. You can blend that in even with your meditative practice. I'm not saying I meditate for hours a day. A lot of people don't got time for that. I'm not telling you to be a monk, but you better start your day in the right rhythm and take 10 minutes and not just hop out of bed and into the rush, and breathe deep and slow and focus your mind and take control of it for the day. Otherwise, the day is just going to kind of be tossing you around and be in control of you. Now, number 2, we do need some physical training. So let's break this up very simply. You got to know what to do and you got to know how to do it. Those things are going to come. Like we talked about in last episodes, you're not going to go in being an expert. Commit yourself to just showing up and you're going to learn along the job just like anything else. You ask anyone that's in like the medical profession, for instance, right? They go do all these things in school and whatnot. Where do they learn the most? You can ask any of them, right? It's clinicals, it's on the job. That's where you get your experience, in life is no different. So within the gym now, basically we got 2 things. We have our weightlifting, which is going to build muscle and reduce fat. And then we have cardio, right? There is a certain amount of movement for those of you that are trying to lose fat that we're going to need to do, which is typically about 150 minutes of movement, right? Each week. It's not that much. I particularly love, for someone that really needs to accelerate fat loss, is the stair stepper. You don't got to be on there for a super long time. It's low impact. It's high intensity, and it's kind of not quite cardio, not quite lifting, more of like conditioning. So that's a great thing as well. So far, we got a mindful practice and getting outside. We got to breathe and we got to take control of our mind, right? That's the very first thing. Number 2, within the gym, we need to have some physical training. Our bodies were meant to move, and our lives just do not demand that anymore. We have to supplement it. We have to purposely, again, mindfully inject that into our life and make time for it. No one else is going to make time for it for you, okay? So we know within that little niche there, we got, hey, am I trying to lose fat or build muscle? Who are you with that? Everyone's a little bit different, and then dialing that in. Number 3, we have nutrition. This is the same for everybody too. Again, we're going to really generalize this and make it very simple. If a caveman didn't have access to it, don't eat it. That should be your rule 80% of the time. Fruit, veggie, meat. If you do that, you're going to eat very, very well. The only other kind of tidbit that we have within that is being like, hey, all right, there's a certain amount that I might want to eat for my goals, okay? So you might put in that you weigh a certain amount, and it's going to tell you based on what your goals are. We gotta hit this number, right? There is the what is it, but also the amount. So that's pretty easy too. Get a calorie tracking app, pretty easy. Set it to what you want to lose. Apply the other principles, and we're good to go. Last but not least, now number 4. So far, again, recapping, we got meditation, getting some mindful practice, silence, deep breathing, right? That's going to set our intention. We're focusing on that now, carrying it in through our whole day. We have some sort of physical training and tailoring that to our goals along with our nutrition, and we're not making it super complicated. We're eating natural foods that the earth has given us, and we're trying to eat the right amount and according to our goals. Last but not least, what I have all my clients do and what I do myself is we take a journal routine. So each day we log at least 3 things that we're grateful for, and then we have a daily affirmation. I am, and I could put focused and flowing, the calmest person in the room, whatever it is. You could put confident, that you're working on, that you're trying to program into your mind to remind yourself of who you want to be, right? Or maybe it's who you don't want to be. Little tidbit on the gratitude log. The same part of your brain that is associated with anxiety is also associated with gratitude. It cannot be turned on at the same time. So we literally rewire your brain and change the neurochemistry of your brain by doing this day in, day out. Next, we have a little training log. You write the things that you did, right? So we're just logging in, hey, I did, 185 for 6 or whatever it is. You know that you're moving, and it's easy. When my clients come in, I can see what they've been doing and what they haven't been doing. And if they're not getting results, it's typically pretty simple, right? We're not putting all these things together that I'm listing here. From there, we basically have a self-reflection page where we just reflect on the day, good things, bad things, how I won, how I lost, so we can say, hey, out of this 24, here's what's good. I'm going to build off of it. Here's what I'm struggling with. I'm going to be mindful. I'm going to cut that out, and I'm going to scrap it, close my eyes, wake up the next morning and try to be a little bit better. That's the name of the game. That's all we really could control of is ourselves. And to me, that's self-development in a whole. That's the gym in the whole. If you just think you're going to come and bang out weights and everything's going to be all good, and you've been slacking off, it's probably because you are not doing some of these things. And particularly, I think the meditation, getting outside, journaling are huge things, because this is what's making all our decisions. This is what's making our choices. And if we keep this in a good place and keep it focused, we really have to. It's so easy to have a floodlight, and we really need to have a spotlight. So overall, I've learned that in 11 years of personal training now. Don't discount how important it is to have this very, very aligned. And I think that's kind of what I enjoy more than giving someone the perfect programming or this or that, is just being like, hey, these little things that you don't think are important, that is what the happiest, most collected, successful individuals are doing. And I highly suggest that you put it into your routine as well. I'll leave you guys with this. We have 3 frames of time. We have the future, we have the present, and we have the past, right? The past and the present we can learn from the past. We can try to plan for the future and have some goals. I think that's an important thing. But at the end of the day, we got to put our head down, and we got right here what's in front of us. Get your daily bread, one little rep at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time, and that's all we can do. Take that, and when we lay a brick by brick, that's how we're going to build a real self-sustaining, good habits that develop you into the person that you know that you can be. You know you can be that person. And I want to see that for everyone. I want to see everyone look in the mirror, look in their own eyes, look at their body, and be happy with what they see on the inside and out, and know that they are reaching their best self for the cards that they were dealt, and to fulfill their unique their unique purpose in this life, because I believe that we all have one, but we got to put ourselves through into the trenches to find that. It takes work. There's not going to be a pill, and if you do take a pill that makes you look a certain way and whatever, that's going to be the thing that's lacking. I've had this conversation with so many people, is that's the whole key with all this stuff. When this changes, everything changes, and it really grounds you and roots you and gives you solid, real change that you can be proud of, and you know that you can maintain for the rest of your life. The breathing, making sure that you're breathing in and out, giving people space, pausing before you speak after someone else has spoken. And when you're focused on your breathing, it really puts you into a subconscious state where you're able to use, to me, like your full intelligence, the full capacity of your brain. And that is true presence. Not worrying about the future that you can't control, not worrying about the past that's already said and done that you can't change, but being right here in the present, and just really winning each and every moment. All right, guys, that's it for episode number 2 of the Global Grind podcast. Just to recap here, we got meditation, we got getting outside, we have our weightlifting, strength training, getting some cardio and movement in. We need to train our body physically. No one should be an amateur in the matter of physical training. We have our nutrition, and then we have some sort of journal, mindful log. We got to get stuff out of here, put it on paper, organize it, collect it. That is you managing yourself and self-educating yourself. And I hope that those simple tools help you guys to be better. All right, we're out.